Welcome to Chemistry 145 online. Now, this is a lab course, and it is designed to accompany the Chemistry 140 taught by Elizabethtown Community and Technical College. If you're not in the Chemistry 140 taught by Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, then you need to rethink whether or not this is the correct lab for you, because I'm going to have these labs geared to pairing with my lecture order. I teach the online section of Chemistry 140, which is the companion lecture. Mr. Winchester usually teaches the face-to-face section, but him and I work very closely together. So as long as you're enrolled in the Chemistry 145, as long as you're enrolled in the Chemistry 140, taught by myself or Mr. Winchester, you're good to go. Another thing I would point out before I go any farther into what this lab class is going to entail and how to participate in this lab class, I want to tell you that there is a cheaper, better option for this class. This online section is going to cost you over $300. $300. That's a lot of money. Plus, you're putting a great deal of burden on providing a safe environment for yourself and whole lots of other issues. We offer a face-to-face version of this class. If your schedule fits to take the face-to-face version of this class, guess what? It saves you over $200. The current lab instructor requires you to buy a lab book for the 145 lab that I think is $80 and change. So you're saving over $200 by taking this class to face-to-face, and you're going to have a better experience. So I really, really beg you, you can't see me right now, but I am down on my hands and knees, begging you, please, 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 if there's any way possible for you to take this class face-to-face, take it face-to-face. It'll be a better experience, and it'll save you a lot of money. I know for some of you, taking it face-to-face isn't an option. And if that's the case, welcome. And I'm going to give you the best possible online lab experience, but it's still going to be inferior to the face-to-face experience. Couple things. My name is Dr. Kelly. The only reliable way to get a hold of me is through the question help message board. And you'll see an entire second part of this welcome lecture on how to use that question help message board. Make sure you do use that message board when contacting me. Even if you send me an email, post a thread saying that on that question help message board saying that you sent me an email so I know to look for it. I answer emails daily, Monday through Friday. I need the weekends off, although it's not uncommon if I have a second for me to jump on board over the weekends, but I do answer things Monday through Friday. So as long as you're emailing me Monday through Friday, you shouldn't have to wait more than 24 hours for a response. Course description, this reinforces concepts covered in Chemistry 140. That means if you're in this class, you need to be co-enrolled in Chemistry 140, or you need to have had Chemistry 140 already, because you're going to discover that there's very little lecture in this course. Matter of fact, this is the only time all semester you will probably hear my voice in the lab course. If you have lecture, you're going to be sick of my voice. But for the lab course, for a whole myriad of reasons, I can't deliver really a lot of content outside what the publisher delivers. So just be aware of that fact. Another reason I would advocate taking this course face-to-face. Textbook. To take this course, you have to have chemical splash goggles. You need a cheap $10 or $12 scientific calculator. You need a periodic table. Now, periodic table, if you have my lecture course, I'm giving you access to a periodic table for free. Google has lots of them. Don't spend $7 buying one from the bookstore. Go to Google, type in periodic table printable, and find an awesome periodic table to use. In addition to those items, you need the hands-on lab kit listed here. The bookstore is the only way I am allowed to mention getting this kit. I would not recommend purchasing this used from Amazon or someplace like that, for the simple fact that this lab kit contains a code you will need to unlock the content, and we'll go over that in a second. So you have to have a code that's viable. So you need to be buying this lab kit either from the bookstore or from the publisher, but I can't really say that you can buy it from the publisher, but it should really be brand new, right? Don't go on Amazon and look for it. Don't go on Barnes & Noble. Well, I guess Barnes & Noble is our bookstore. But I mean, realize that it's not just the chemicals and the equipment you need. You need a code that is going to unlock the website that you're going to be doing your labs on. So you are going to have to buy this brand new, which means you're going to have to spend around $300, which is why taking it face-to-face is so much better. Let's go through how you get and how you purchase that hands-on lab kit. I'm taking you now to the web, and I'm getting one of those free, I'm giving you one of those cool Picasso-like views right now, but let's go to your Blackboard course. Give me a second here. I need to clean up my Blackboard shell here. All right, let's go to the bookstore. First of all, how do you find your bookstore? Go to your college's website, search bar, and bookstore. Booyah! All right. You want bookstore, and your home college may be just slightly different. Either way, find the link to enter the bookstore. KCTCS Distance Learning Bookstore website or ECTC book site should work. My advice to you, however, is rather than go through this KCTCS online link, I would recommend going directly to the Elizabethtown bookstore. If you're in someplace else, be aware Elizabethtown bookstore is probably the best way. For whatever reason over the summer, the KCTCS bookstore had trouble finding the course and matching it up correctly with what the Elizabethtown bookstore website said. So go to the Elizabethtown bookstore website, but let's just check and make sure. Let's go to KCTCS online today. Now where it says textbooks, go to find textbooks. So I'm at the KCTCS online bookstore. See, ta-da, textbooks, find textbooks. They let you select a campus. Let's go with KCTCS online. Select department. Well, this is chemistry, so we're going to go to CHE. You're in 145, and here's the important part. Recognize that you are in 25Z1. See, there's lots of other sections out there, but you're in 25Z1. So make sure you understand you're in section 25Z1. So let's find material for this course. Hey, hot diggity dog, they've got it working right today. That's always a pleasant surprise. You're going to want to choose this kit that's shown there. Hands-on lab, should say hands-on lab, should be GOB1. I'm surprised they even have a used option. If you get it used, realize that it has to have that code. I have no idea what happens if you buy it used and if it doesn't have that code. I'm not sure the publisher will sell you that code separately. So the code's the point. So make sure you have that code. Speaking of the code, let's just going to walk through kind of what's going to happen in this course. So you've ordered your book. You've ordered your lab kit. Your lab kit's going to come in a very unglamorous, big old cardboard box. It's not going to come in any sort of fancy, smancy packaging like some of the other companies have. You're going to get your lab sent to you in a brown cardboard box in a bunch of Ziploc bags. So you're going to have that arrive, and in there'll be some paperwork. And that paperwork is going to contain a code. Let's go back to the course shell. All right, here we are, and this is your Blackboard course shell. See this button where it says Labs? It's going to click you through. You click this, and it's going to send you to the Hands-On Labs website. This is where you'll do everything in the course of the semester. Now, you're not going to see all these different courses because you're only in this one chemistry course. There's Chemistry 145, and I'm going to switch to the student view real quickly. When you log in, you're going to see all these labs listed for you. However, all these labs down here, laboratory techniques, observations, anions, cations, all these things down here will be locked. You won't be able to unlock them until you do 3 things. You have to do 3 things to unlock them. First, you have to go and do the getting started. You can do this getting started here before your lab kit arrives. Let me be clear. You can do the getting started before your lab kits arrive. Same way for your laboratory safety. You can do your laboratory safety lab before your lab kit arrives. So even if the company or the bookstore tells you it's going to take 2 weeks to get the lab kit to you, no problem, because you have next week's lab getting started, and you have the following week's lab, laboratory safety, right here in front of you. So you have 2 labs you can do on this website before your kit even arrives. So you can do these, and after you do these and you unlock this website using your code, all these lessons will magically appear to you. When you get that code, you're going to see this little my account up here, and at some point they will ask you to, I don't have to add a code because I'm an instructor, but if you click that my account, they'll ask you to add a code. You punch in that code and everything should be unlocked. If there's something wrong with your code, be aware I don't have that power to help you, right? I don't control this publisher's website. You're going to have to use the contact us button and either chat with Hands-On Lab or phone them to get it unlocked if you have your code and it's not working for some reason after you punch in your code. Let's take a look at what your typical lab lesson in Hands-On Lab will be like. Let's go to laboratory safety. All of your labs will consist of 3 parts: exploration, then a series of exercises, which is where you'll actually work with the chemicals and do the experiments, and then your evaluation. Let's actually do it for your first lab, laboratory techniques and measurements, and take a look at that exploration. Your exploration will start with a pretest. They're going to give you a pretest, and they're going to see what you know already. Don't sweat it. It's a pretest, right? After you do that pretest, and I'm just going to randomly go through here. Well, it won't let me because I'm an instructor. Okay. After you go through that pretest, then you're going to get some reading. Make sure you read and understand this information. I have the scheduling of these labs done so that hopefully you'll have covered the information that you see here in lecture already. If you're working off the 2 due dates in lecture, then you will have already seen the stuff that's being presented to you in lab. But go ahead, make sure that you read things and understand them the way the lab publisher wants you to. Then at the end of each page, you're going to have a little question time. And you'll have to go through several pages of questions and several pages of reading for each lab. And this is your pre-lab, right? After you finish this exploration, and usually only after they finish that, you finish the exploration, will they unlock the experimentation section. See this experimentation? They'll give you an experimental overview. They'll give you the list of materials that you need. Make sure that you have all those things before you start. Be aware that they expect you to provide some things on your own. For example, they expect you to supply your own source of rubbing alcohol. You can buy it at Walgreens for 84 cents a bottle most of the time. White granulated sugar. They expect you to provide your own sugar, your own tap water, your own ice cube, right? They expect you to provide some things yourself. So make sure you have all these things before you start the experiment, because a lot of these experiments, once you start them, the computer will not let you stop. That brings up a couple points. Don't try to rush these labs. Plan on these labs taking you about 3 hours. So don't start them 2 hours before you have to go to work. The computer will lock you out if you stop a lot of the time when you get to certain steps. Now, they'll give you a warning, as in don't go any farther because you're going to start the lockout feature. And most of the time, that's not the exploration. Most of the time, that occurs during the exploration and the evaluation steps. So make sure you have a nice 3-hour chunk to work on this. And that's 3 hours of uninterrupted time, right? I'm a parent myself, but if you have kids, you might want to wait until those kids are asleep, even if that means working 9 p.m. to midnight on this thing. Also, these are labs that should not be done with children present. Let me stress, when you do these labs, you should not have anybody else in the room with you, unless it's a fellow student wearing safety goggles, right? If you want to meet somebody else who's in this class and team up and do the labs together, awesome! But you both need to be in the class and you both need to be wearing safety goggles. And you'll both have to turn in separate lab reports. But I have no objections if you guys want to do a meetup or something like that. But anyway, this will actually walk you through the experimentation. So now you've got your overview of your materials. Now you start the actual experiments. And these experiments will usually have some video for using a new piece of equipment or something that's new. Then they'll have instructions, and you have to follow instructions. Follow instructions. A couple of things. If you don't follow instructions, guess what? You usually wind up getting hurt. Also, the lab results won't be correct. I know what the lab results should be for all of you. I've got an answer key. So make sure that you follow instructions. Make sure that you're honest too. The chemicals don't always read the lab read the lab procedures, is a saying I like to say in my face-to-face lab. So always do things honestly, because I'm going to look at things I'm going to look at your lab results a little odd if for some reason you're turning in perfect results and everybody else is off by 2 degrees, right? Your chemicals don't always follow the textbook, but they always, due to impurities or other factors, tend to work in groups here. The chemicals do. So just be aware of those things. After each exercise, you'll usually have some questions to answer. After you've done all those labs and answered all the questions, you'll have an evaluation. And the evaluation is the post-lab. Most of these times, once you start your post-lab, you can't stop. They'll say start evaluation. Yeah, see here, here's your warning. This lesson will be locked, must be completed in one sitting. When you get to that evaluation stage, be aware that you can't stop for any reason. Yes, experimentation phase, they don't usually lock. Exploration phase, they don't usually lock. Evaluation stage, they nearly always lock. So be aware of that. All right. To review, I've gone silent here for a second. To review, you get to your labs through this lab button. That sends you through to the publishers, sends you through to Blackboard. That sends you through to hands-on lab. Before your kit arrives, you're capable of doing the Getting Started lab and the Laboratory Safety lab. But you'll need the code from your kit in order to do all the rest of your labs. You'll also have to have completed each of these labs before you can unlock the next one. Be aware that your evaluation portion of each lab is usually timed and has to be completed in a sitting. All right. That's that for that portion of the welcome lecture. Let's go back to the syllabus here. Went through the course requirements pretty well here. A couple additional things is, in addition to the safety exercise on the hands-on lab website, I have an additional safety exercise for you. Here in the Getting Started, I have something called Lab Safety. There's a video I want you to watch and a quiz I want you to take afterwards. This quiz is a little bit quirky. Oh, come on. Right here. Labs. Oh, I hit the wrong thing, guys. Start here. Lab Safety. All right. ACF Safety Quiz is a little quirky. Let's open it up here. Couple things. First, you're going to see on this ACS Safety Quiz that you have to take, you're going to see some multiple choice questions. After you take all these multiple choice questions, you have to click check answer. If you don't click check answer, the computer doesn't save your answers. Click check answers. So you click check answers after you've answered your multiple choice. Then you see some true and false. Answer the true and false questions, and guess what? Click check answer. After you've clicked check answers, then you click finish. Click check answers for both groups. Click finish for both groups. I won't grade anything. I won't give you a grade for the course until you've completed this ACF Safety Quiz. And once you click finish, you'll be able to see that your score has been submitted. All right. So there's the safety video to watch. There's the ACF Safety Quiz. Let's keep moving. You also need to submit a safety waiver that's also under safety, and I don't have that posted at the moment. I'll get that posted in a second. That needs to be your actual signature. Submitted, please. Submitted is either a JPEG or a PDF. Ready your lab working area. Take proper safety precautions. You and you alone are responsible for your safety and the safety of those around you. If you are unable to or unwilling to assume safety for yourself, then don't take this lab class. Take and perform the exploration portion of the exercise pre-lab, perform the exercises, take the evaluation portion of the lab. I've got some duplication in here, don't I? There we go. Follow the cleanup instructions for the lab. All online assignments for this class are due at 11:59 p.m. EST. Those of you who are in Grayson County, those of you who are in Murray, Kentucky, those of you who are in Paducah, Bowling Green, make sure you realize that I am operating on the Eastern Standard Time Zone, New York time, right? All assignments are due at 11:59 Eastern Time. Each lab is going to take you no less than 60 minutes, and probably not many will take you more than 180. By the way, safety goggles are a must for everything. If I find out you're not wearing safety goggles, either by statement or by photographic evidence, I will fail you in the class. So wear those safety goggles. Letter grades will be determined based on the following: A, B, C, D, E, and E, straightforward. Grades actually aren't going to be kept in Blackboard. They'll be kept in Hands-On Labs website. Late work online assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. 5% a day late penalty. Real quickly here, let's look at the schedule for those of you worried about getting your lab kit and all that. This week's assignment is simply to do what you're doing now and listen to this welcome lecture. By the way, everybody write down Indiana Jones. Everybody write down Indiana Jones. All right. Indiana Jones. Dr. Jones. So you're doing this week's lab assignment right now, listening to the welcome lecture, taking your syllabus quiz, watching that safety video, safety quiz, safety waiver. Next week assignments is getting started, and that's located in the Hands-On Lab. And remember, you don't have to have the website unlocked for that, right? So you can plunge right in and get that done without your lab kit having arrived. Then we don't have a lab the following week because it's Labor Day. Then you do laboratory safety in Hands-On Lab. So that has given you 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. I have given you a month to get that lab kit there. That way, if you have to wait on a paycheck, you're waiting for your financial aid paperwork, you've had 4 weeks, right? At the end of 4 weeks, I'm not having a lot of mercy on you. That code should be at your house. That lab kit should be on at your house. So you've had 4 weeks to get it there. Even after that 4th week, because there's a week's grace here between the date you should do a lab and the emergency date where I take that late penalty, you essentially have 4.5 weeks to get that kit to your house. After that, I'm going to be really strict on that 5% a day lab penalty. Why? Because I need to power grade. And what I mean by that is grades are fairer to everybody if I'm grading everybody in the class's lab sheet at once, because that way I'm counting the same things off the same percentage. If you're someone who grade falls behind, not only am I giving you a 5% late penalty, but chances are I'm grading you in a vacuum without other papers to reference. So I'm going to get really grouchy with you. Also, if you're late, fair warning here. If you are late, then I reserve the right to be late grading your paper. If you are late, don't think I'm going to be grading yours the next day. Don't think I'm even going to be grading yours within a week. If you turn in a lab late, then I will probably grade it late, like maybe 2 to 3 weeks late, because I will wait until somebody else who is also late turns in that lab late. Matter of fact, I may even wait till the end of the semester to grade an assignment that has been turned in late. Let me be clear on that. If you turn in your assignment late, because I'm generous enough to accept it and still grade it anyway, I may not grade it until the end of the semester. Good on that? So if you want your material graded promptly, turn it in promptly. That's about it. Here is the technical stuff for the college. This person right here is not somebody who knows anything about this lab, right? Don't email this person with questions. That's in case I am doing a really lousy job and you want to like email somebody and say they should fire me. That's the person you email and say they should fire me, right? Questions, go to the question help message board and email this person right here. That's me, Dr. Kelly, right? The person at the end of the syllabus is just the complaint department. All right, that's it. I really look forward to working with you and hope you all have a good semester with me. Beep.